Oh, hey, how's it going everyone? This is the Anime Man. Today I have traveled all the way outside of Tokyo to Yokohama Design College, this beautiful design/language college out here in Kanagawa. Now, if that sounds familiar to you guys, it's probably because my lovely girlfriend Aki did a video where she spent 3 months being a student here. If you want to check that out, link is in the description below. But today your boy is not going to be the student. No, he is going to be the sensei. Yokohama Design College has so graciously allowed me to teach one of their classes a little bit of Nihongo, because let's just say your boy is Nihongo Jozu. Now, obviously, I have absolutely zero experience teaching any class. I used to, maybe teach my sister a little bit of Japanese after school and stuff like that, but I've never done it in a classroom setting like this. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. But before we start the lesson, I'm gonna get a few pointers from some actual Japanese teachers here at Yokohama Design College. See if they can give me any advice on how to teach Japanese. This is gonna be the most scuffed Japanese lesson in existence. Let's go. 佐々木先生、よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
ちなみに日本語教師は何年ぐらいやってるんですか？
そうですね、10年くらいですかね。10年くらい。
じゃあもうベテランですね。心得てるっていうか、その教室に入る時にもこういう感じでレッスンした方が生徒受けがいいよっていうなんかアドバイスとかってありますか？
入る時はやっぱりこう明るい、雰囲気を持って入って、授業中はやっぱりこう一人一人の学生のことをよく見てあげることが大切かなと思います。
特有のなんかコツというか、こういう教え方したらやっぱり生徒が喜ぶっていうか頭に入るなっていうのはありますか？
私はいつも心がけているのはやっぱり楽しい授業、面白い授業っていうことなんですが、私が面白いことを言うだけじゃなくて、こう学生が面白いことを言うきっかけというかタイミング、面白いことが言えるようなタイミングっていうのを作るようにしてます。
そういうのをいろいろ心がけてチャレンジしていきたいと思います。後で佐々木先生には僕がもう10点満点中どれほどいいクラスになったのかちょっと判断させていただくので、そこはよろしくお願いします。Alright, well, without further ado, let's be a Japanese teacher.
Hi, it's me, Joey the Anime Man. I see you caught me in my traditional Japanese room, just enjoying the scenic views. But I feel like there's something missing, something that really needs to be paired along with this beautiful Japanese scenery. What's this? Oh my god, is this sponsor of today, Boxu? The great lords above have blessed me and are sending a message to me that I need to relay to you guys. Boxu is a traditional monthly Japanese snack box that delivers premium authentic Japanese snacks straight to your door. And every single month they offer you a brand new theme for that month, and all the snacks fit that theme. Well, this month is December, the last month of the year, and it's, oh my lord, it's the Hokkaido Wonderland theme. Hokkaido, for those of you who don't know, is the very northern island of Japan and is known for its beautiful snowy scenery. And it seems like there are just so many snacks for me to choose from. Where do I even start? What's that? You're telling me that I should try these milk manjus? I mean, it makes sense. Hokkaido is known for its premium milk after all. Oh my lord. And the lord is telling me that if I don't necessarily just want all these snacks, then they come with a special tea bag as well to fit perfectly with the snacks. It's like a match made in heaven. Oh, and the final message. It's telling me that if you guys want this snack box as well, then to use the coupon code AnimeMan at checkout, and you can get, what was that? $15 off your first order. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me with these beautiful snacks. And thank you, Boxu, for sponsoring this video.
Hi, 今日の日直お願いします。
Greetings. Hey.
おはようございます。
Taseki.
Today will be a Japanese class in English. It's going to be a little bit different. For those of you who don't know, my name is Joey. You can just call me, I don't know, Mr. Joey, I guess. I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. I'm not a teacher. But if there is one thing that I am pretty good at, it's Japanese. The lesson for today will essentially be, for one, answering any questions that you guys have about Japanese, and I will try and answer it to the best of your abilities. 2, just, teaching you some fun things about Japanese. Fun is, of course, subjective, but I'm hoping that there might be a couple of things I can teach you guys that will make you, I guess, be a little bit more curious about Japanese. To get things started, do you guys have any questions? And I mean anything concerning Japanese that the teachers aren't teaching you, or that you want to know, or that you want to know a little bit better?
We have been learning kamoshiranai. The question is like all the time is 9. And the verb is 9, the verb is in negative, and kamoshiranai is negative, but that's mean positive. Why we have to use like manyawanai kamoshiranai? Nai kamoshiranai, but that's mean positive. Like, so if you can just give us some kind of examples of that,
okay,
it would be great.
This is great for me as well, because I'm also thinking about this as well, because for one, I never really thought about it like this. So we have manyawanai, which is I'm going to be late, and then you have nai, which is a negative, right? That's a negative. So what you're saying is, even though there is a negative here and a negative here, the entire sentence becomes a positive. For one, I would look at this sentence and not necessarily say that this is a positive sentence. If someone told me manyawanai kamoshiranai, that in English would essentially mean, oh, I don't think I'm going to make it.
And it's just one negative.
That's a negative, right? The I don't think, I don't know. That could be a good thing or a bad. So this is kind of neutral. By putting in the nai here, it becomes a negative. So then no matter what you put in front of here, for the most part, it is going to end up being a negative because of this. Does that make sense? We can test it out with something else. Let's say, for example, taberenai kamoshirenai. That's to eat.
I don't know, I don't think, I don't gonna eat.
You should think of this as not its own word, but a connection to whatever this is. Because we could then completely spin this in a positive by, instead of saying taberenai, we could be tabereru kamoshirenai.
The problem is like the teachers told that, no, ammari uskawanai ne. So, but I want to know what's mean, taberu kamoshirenai. What's mean in English?
So kamoshirenai, for the most part, is the part that I think you should be focusing on, which means I don't think or I don't know. Uncertainty, which is a neutral. All right, because it could be a positive, it could be a negative, and it purely depends on what is in front of this. The thing that it's important with kamoshirenai is not so much the nai kamoshirenai as one word, but just kind of put a separation here. Just remember, kamoshirenai means I don't think, I don't know. Regardless of the positive or the negative in front of it, it still is uncertain.
It's kind of similar to nakereba narimasen, nakereba ikemasen.
Exactly. So like nakereba narimasen.
It's because it's like not directly.
It's no.
I don't know.
Double negative.
So say for example, let's do like eat. 食べなければなりません. I have to eat it. Or 間に合わなければなりません. I have to make it in time.
But in Japanese, if we translate, it's gonna be like, I cannot eat, I cannot not eat.
I cannot not eat. Yeah. I think because you're thinking of the narimasen as a negative, which is technically a negative, but not in this case. Like when you hear the sentence, I have to eat something, do you perceive that as a positive or a negative?
Positive.
Okay, so let's do 勉強 for example, right? 勉強しなければなりません. I have to study.
The thing is, I must be studying, right?
Yeah, I must study, or I have to study. The なければなりません in this instance it's a want or a need to do something. I have to do something. But in terms of this, the 勉強する, that is neither a positive nor a negative. That is a neutral. In terms of sentence endings like this or this, what's really important, I think, is to know when to cut it. Because, with Japanese it's difficult because there is no, like in English or any other language, there's no spaces to break the words up, right? That's where a lot of people get confused of, okay, where does the English word start and where does it end? You might not be able to write a space in Japanese. You can kind of put an imaginary line where the actual phrasing starts and where the subject starts.
Nice.
Yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
Good thing is I just forgot about English and say this is positive, this is thank you.
Yes.
I use the toilet.
Yes, you do. You have 30 seconds to come back. So be quick. One thing I want to, I guess, teach you guys about. Hands up for people who are struggling with kanji. Some people are just like, no. I guess one thing with kanji that I want to teach people, because I feel there's a lot of textbooks that aren't able to teach it properly or correctly, is there are two different ways you can read kanji. You have onyomi and you have kunyomi. ちょっと待って、kun ってなんだっけ? How do you write kun again? This just proves to you, no amount of Japanese can make you remember. I don't think it's in kanji. Oh wait, no, it is. You're right. As someone who loves kanji, this is simultaneously my favorite thing about kanji and my least favorite thing about kanji. In an essence, it feels like there is no rule. Oh, you're very quick, very good. It feels like there is no rules to onyomi or kunyomi. But I think there is a really, really simple way that you can learn how to differentiate between reading something in an onyomi and reading something in a kunyomi. How would you read that? Sen or saki. Alright, so you have sen, like sensei, and you have saki. So you can read that as sen, you can read that as saki. Tell me which one is the kunyomi and which one's the onyomi?
That one is kunyomi and that one is kunyomi.
Sen ga onyomi desu ne. De kun ga saki. When you're just reading the kanji by itself in a textbook, it doesn't really help you in a lot of ways. Because if you saw this kanji out in the wild, just by itself, there are so many ways you can read it. I think for a lot of people, just looking at the kanji, they see two different meanings and two different ways to read it, and they go, well, there's so many different ways to read it. How am I supposed to know when to read it as sen and when to read it as saki? And have they taught you that in this class?
We just memorize there.
Right.
All the
Exactly, right? Say for example, why, if I put this at the end of it, you would read this as sen.
We learned the word together.
But say for example, if there was a kanji here you've never seen before, you've never seen that word for example, how would you be able to tell if you had to read it as an onyomi or kunyomi? There is an actual rule in a lot of ways to onyomi and kunyomi. Obviously, a lot like a lot of other languages, there are grammatical rules. Like say for in English, do you guys know the rule I before E except after C? That's a very common rule in English that they teach you in schools. It's interesting because there are actually more words in the English language that break that rule than actually follow that rule. In a lot of ways, Japanese is the same, but I think on a fundamental level, there is a really, really simple set of rules to onyomi and kunyomi that you can utilize in any kanji. If this was by itself, most of the time, you would read it as saki. In the case with onyomi, one big rule is there a kanji that follows it or comes before it? If this, for example, has hiragana, like say like no or ga, for example, surrounding it, then usually 99% of the time, you would read this as its kunyomi. However, if there was another kanji, say behind it, in the case with sensei, or even before it, in the case with yusen, you would most likely read it as an onyomi. And that's a big rule. And that's something that they won't really teach you because for the most part, it's a little bit, confusing. But I think if you just remember that one rule when it comes to kanji, regardless of if it's a kanji you can read or if it's a word that you've never seen before, you can take an educated guess on how it might be read. And from there, it's a lot easier to determine what that word actually means, and it's also a lot easier to look up that word. Say for example, I can't read this kanji, but I have seen this before. I know that you can read this as sen or saki, but which one is it? Well, I would see that, oh, there's a kanji behind it or in front of it, and that creates one word. Knowing the rule of onyomi, probably educated guess, I can say, oh, you would read that as sen. In my opinion, really good method to remember, and this was the method that I used when I was learning kanji as well. It's just like, you see a kanji and you go, okay, I know all the different meanings of how to read this.
How long have you been in Japan?
I've been living in Japan for 6 years now.
Yes.
Why your Japanese is so good?
My Japanese is good because I studied for 28 years.
How important is Anki decks? Is it that it's often recommended online when I look it up?
I guess my version of an Anki deck, which is if I saw a new kanji, then I would obviously, like with a lot of Anki, I would just write it over and over and over and over again. So I would remember how to write it, and then obviously I would look up, all right, what are the different ways that I can read it? But another really, really important thing, which I think I've seen in your guys' textbooks, whenever a new kanji pops up, there's a bunch of example words of how you can use that kanji. Remembering that is so much more important than remembering the actual character, in my opinion. It's like Pokemon. You can collect all the Pokemon if you want, but if you don't use it in battle, they're pretty pointless, right? It's kind of the same way. In the sense with kanji, it's so much more important to not only know the onyomi and the kunyomi, or all the different ways that you can read it, but it's also really important to know what other combinations of kanji can I use with this new character that I learned that I can utilize in everyday life. If you see something that says like tasukete, let's say hypothetically, right? You only knew the onyomi for this, but you wouldn't read this as jokete. You'd read this as tasukete. What's really important about, again, learning the meaning of the kanji is that there could be another kanji in front of this where you're just like, I don't know what the hell that means.
I would have think like call me.
Yeah.
Like maybe call me.
Right.
Yeah.
If you knew that this kanji meant to save, and then you saw something like this, never seen that before, right? You'd be like, what is this? I don't know what this is. But if you looked at this word and you knew that, oh, I know this kanji, that means save. So you could take an educated guess to being like, this word probably means something to save. And it does. This is angel, which means backup, because you're saving someone, you're backing someone up. So even just by knowing this kanji and what it means, you can take an educated guess. You don't even know how to read it. And trust me, there are a lot of kanji, even for me, where I'm like, I don't know how the hell you read that. But I know what the kanji means, and I can get context clues on what it might mean.
I need to get to that level.
It's purely context.
I need to get to
And exactly. And that's what's so interesting about Japanese is that in a lot of ways, a lot of Japanese people who live here still can't read every single kanji that they see. But what they can do is take an educated guess on how it might be read and what it might mean. And that gets you through a lot. One thing that I always tell people who are learning Japanese, don't get too discouraged if you don't know something, because even Japanese people don't know Japanese. And that's why things like, you know, the kanji proficiency exam and even the Japanese proficiency exam exists, and why even Japanese people take it. Like any language, right? Even if it is your first language, you're not a master at it. You're not gonna know what everything means. And in the case with kanji, they're constantly adding new kanji every single year.
Why?
Because they can. I guess my purpose for today was to, teach or tell you guys that, yes, Japanese is extremely difficult, but if you're able to see, the fun intricacies in it, and you're able to see that it is a difficult language, but it's a difficult language for everybody. There is no ceiling, because the ceiling just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So my aim is to don't think to yourself, I need to reach that ceiling of knowing everything about Japanese. Truth be told, you're not going to. That's just the cold hard fact I can tell you. I'm still trying to reach that ceiling after 28 years. But what is important is that I know the intricacies of it, and I know how to have fun with it. And I can see the fun in the language and how it is structured. So yeah. Oh yes, question.
How can we improve our speaking in Japanese?
I know this is going to sound like a shocker. The way to improve your speaking in Japanese is to speak Japanese. You guys are in a really unique position where you're in Japan, you're interacting with Japanese teachers, you're interacting even with Japanese students. So I think it is so incredibly important to fully utilize that and use it to your advantage. And that, I think, is a fantastic method on just increasing your vocabulary and also increasing your confidence in speaking. That was the end of my class. I hope you guys learned something, and good luck with your Japanese. Thank you, everyone. じゃあ日直お願いします。ありがとうございました。I just finished the class and I saw Sasaki sensei was taking a lot of notes during the class. So that was making me a little bit nervous, but I think everything went well, and now I'm going to ask Sasaki sensei for his evaluation. 先生どうでしたか？
非常に素晴らしかったです。
佐々木先生ずっとノート取ってたからもうめっちゃ緊張してましたもん。
たくさんいいところがあって、そこを結構たくさんメモしていました。
あ、よかったです。ありがとうございます。ぶっちゃけ10点満点中、佐々木先生何点でしたか？
はい、10点満点中8点です。
おお、いいじゃないですか。減点のところとかありますか？
非常にたくさんいい説明とか、していらっしゃったんですけれども、あそこから学生が考えるようなクイズだったりとか問題を出すと学生がちゃんと理解しているかっていうのを確認できたんじゃないかなと。
まあ僕一方的に説明してるだけでなんかそうですね、確かにクイズっていうクイズとかなかったですよね。
発展できるとさらに良かったんじゃないかなと思います。
I think the bell right there is a good sign. That is the end of school and end of my time as a Japanese teacher at this school. I had a wonderful time. Sasaki sensei, ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Well guys, that was the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a really fun time actually. It was kind of a childhood dream to be like a school teacher growing up. I feel like I was able to achieve just that one little dream. A big thank you to the folks over at YDC Yokohama Design College. I will leave the link to their school down in the description below. If you want to come to Japan and learn some Japanese, be a Japanese student here, then this school is definitely the place that I would heavily recommend. And I hope for all of you who are watching this video who are learning Japanese yourselves, regardless of if it's in a classroom setting or you're just trying to self-learn. I hope this video gave you a little bit of encouragement, maybe you learned a little bit of something, and if you're not learning Japanese, maybe you want to start learning Japanese. I don't know. But either way, I appreciate you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. じゃあね。
We'll be right back.